Yeah. Let's see next year, because guess what? That's going to be one. You will be faced with one of the toughest schedules in the National Football League next year, Faker, and the rest of the Cleveland Browns. You know why? Because the NFL schedule is in accordance to what your record is. That's why the Patriots record was a little skewed this year, because the Dolphins were better last year. They made the playoffs. The Bills made the playoffs. And the Patriots did as well. When you had that much winning in one division, they match you up against an equally tough division. See, people don't understand that. That's why the Patriots consistently win 10, 12 games, because their division is usually trash. So they will match them up with another trash division, which gives the Patriots an instant 5 or 6 win, five wins in the division. They're gonna lose in Miami every year. They may as well just check that game off. And then they playing a division full of losers. But y'all had to play the Bass division this year with a solid up-and-coming Detroit team, with a Green Bay team who was in the middle of the road, and the Bass kicking ass and taking aim, and the Vikings kicking ass. See, y'all didn't see that coming. See, and that's the reason. And then you had a better division in the AFC South as well, and it wasn't a cakewalk this year. See, you have to look at this in its totality. It's easy to say, hey man, this happened and that happened and this. No. You have to look at this situation in its totality. This is how some of these dynasties are made. Speaking of dynasties being made, my team's legacy is going directly down the drain. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Mike Mayock was hired this week. Now, Mike Mayock seems to be a well-informed guy on TV. Mike Mayock is the Mel Kiper Jr. of the NFL Network. And now he is the general manager of the Raiders, because we don't know where they're going to play next year. We don't know if they're going to be the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. What's up, Red? What's up? Thank you for joining the fun. We don't know where they playing next year, but they're going to be the Raiders. Who's hiring Mike Mayock? Is Mel Kiper Jr. going to get a job next year too? Come on, man. This lets you know that this egomaniacal dickhead, a.k.a. Chucky, a.k.a. John Gruden, I forgot this clown's name. I'm just that through with him. Chucky is trying to create a team in his image. He's trying to shake the moniker of, you won with Tony Dungy's team. See, that's ego tripping. And when you ego trip, shout out to De La Soul, you just lose your luggage. That's all. You done put the Bears damn near in the Super Bowl. You done put the Cowboys damn near in the Super Bowl. If nothing else, you helped them win the division. And you thought you was going to get a couple of top 5 picks. You thought you was going to get 3 of the top 5 picks, but then you go hire a dude from off TV. You go hire Mel Kiper III to be the damn general manager. If that's not a power move, nothing is. Because he's not listening to Mike Mayock. He's not listening to Mike Mayock. The reason he might be listening to Mike Mayock is to do this. To pick his head for the college dudes that he know. Which, if you're looking at the Pete Carroll game plan, that's not a bad thing. But trust and believe, this dumbass Chucky don't know what he's doing. He's going to ruin another team. That's all I'm saying in regards to that. You know. Another thing I want to talk about is this. John Elway. That's the thing. John Elway, man. One of the greatest quarterbacks. And if you ask me, he's the number 2 greatest quarterback of all time. He's the number 2 greatest quarterback of all. He's the number 2 guy. I understand Brady got more Super Bowls and you blah, 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 and this, that. John Elway, my number 2. But anyway, John Elway has fired another coach, which is Gary Kubiak, Fox, this dude. At what point, and he's fired them because they're not good enough coaches, and really because they didn't have a quarterback. You fired Fox because he had Tebow as the quarterback. Tebow couldn't hit water out of a boat with a football. He could be standing on the side of a boat and miss the water. But at what point if you are hiring the help, do you say, hey man, John Elway is the problem. He ain't the solution anymore. At what point do you say that? Because if you keep hiring the wrong manager to run the department, ain't it your fault that we losing? Or we not doing as well as we could? How you fire my man and you slipping? You tripping? You not getting the job done, bruh. Help me understand, John. I mean, I understand you're a legend in Denver. You've actually been to two Super Bowls and won one. But how is it that it's everybody's fault but yours? How is it that you're one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but you can't look at film and say, you know what, that's what we need? How is it that you're not listening to the talent evaluators, but you keep picking? You've picked the only quarterback in the last 30 years to not live out his contract. And the dude, Paxton Wentz, or Paxton, whatever his name was, can't think of his name right now. This dude was labeled a bum before the draft, but you still picked him. You still picked him. So, at what point do we start blaming Mr. Elway for these hiccups? See, it's easy to say, hey man, he picking a man, they getting the wrong dude, and you got to watch out because John Elway is no. But hey, bro, just like when these quarterbacks hitting these wide open DBs, you throwing some worm burners yourself, man. You keep picking these Rudies, and they ain't getting you nowhere, bro. It's your fault. It's easy to say, oh, the quarterback's not getting it done, but you pull the trigger on these bums. So if you're the trigger man, and the trigger keep missing the target, it's your fault, John. I'm just saying, don't nobody else want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. Like, hey, to quote the great Millie Jackson, damn it, I had to say it. And that's just what it is. But we not gonna have that conversation. We having every other conversation in the world. We having the Mike Tomlinson out of control conversation. Joey Porter, my main man, Joey Porter getting fired. I don't know if he good or not, but Joey Porter ass ain't working this week or next week or the week after. He ain't working for the Steelers. He might get picked up somewhere else, but he ain't working for the Steelers. So when John Elway gonna be on the Budweiser hot seat? When he gonna have to walk around with some damn ice bricks in his back pocket because this heating up, or when he don't get that up, because you the boy and you cool with the ownership group and all that. You cool with the family. You don't get that, huh? I understand you've been to 2 Super Bowls, but Jerry Reese went to 2 Super Bowls. He won 2 Super Bowls. As a matter of fact, he beat the all-time great Bill Belichick twice. Nobody tripping with him. Well, nobody tried to save his job with Eli and them. And this dude won 2 Super Bowls in a 10-year period. In a 5-year period, as a matter of fact. He unemployed as hell right now unless he working for somebody else. But he ain't got that giant job no more, I'll tell you that. So, hey, Mr. Elway. When mainstream media, when y'all gonna start telling him to agitate the gravel? Because y'all be running brothers out of town quick as hell. With that being said, it's time for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Top 9. I told y'all I got the number 1 back. I got the top backcourts in NBA history. We get all this front court, back court, side court, greatest of all time conversation. I get it. That's what we do. But I am gonna question this. Even though we do this greatest of all time, I'm doing this top 10 list, and I get it. And it's fun. I like doing it. Who the greatest? Mickey Mantle or Babe Ruth? Joe DiMaggio or any of them other dudes? The Iron Horse. You know why you don't know that? Because the white community don't do that. They don't do the divide and conquer and make half of the community pick Mickey Mantle and the other half pick Joe DiMaggio. They just say they're great. But when it comes to us, they make us pick sides. It's just a fun fact right there. With that being said, my number 9 backcourt of all time is these 2 guys. Both of them are Hall of Famers. Both of them played for the Lakers. Both of them some shooters. Both of them some scorers. One of them is the logo. Now, a lot of people don't give this dude a lot of credit because for whatever stupid ass reason, you're looked down upon for losing in the NBA Finals. Now, I understand this isn't a participation trophy league, but tell you what, as a sports fan and a dude who likes his team to win, I wouldn't want to lose 4 Super Bowls, but losing 4 Super Bowls or being a Raider fan today, I take losing them 4 Super Bowls. That's just me. Call me crazy. I won't want my team outside the playoffs every year. I wouldn't want to root for the Detroit Lions every year, knowing we ain't got a snowball's chance in fish grease. So, with that being said, I got to give it up to the homies Jerry West and Gail Goodrich. Jerry West and Gail Goodrich had game, man. I mean, I looked up their numbers, and you got to give it up to them dudes, man. You got to give it up to them, man. Jerry West and Gail Goodrich, they the number 9 team on the league. Beating out honorable mention Stockton and Hornacek. But the reason I ain't go with them, they get honorable mention because they white. No, I ain't do that. But Hornacek and Stockton, neither one of them would take charge kind of guys. So even though they get honorable mention, they don't get it. Now, the next up is my main man, one of my alumni, he came from my high school, Hersey Hawkins, real good dog. He was a great baseball player. People don't know that. Fun fact, Hersey Hawkins was a great baseball player in high school. But he came from my alma mater. And the glove, Gary Payton. Gary Payton and Hersey Hawkins were the Seattle Supersonics backcourt for about 5 years. They went to the NBA Finals. Hersey Hawkins was firing that thing up from the outside. Gary Payton was hitting everybody on the court. Both of them were NBA All-Stars. At one point, Hersey Hawkins was I ain't gonna go as far as say unstoppable scorer, but he was a hell of a scorer. Gary Payton is a Hall of Famer, gold medal winner, actually National College Player of the Year 1 year. So I got to give it up for them. Number 7 is gonna shock the hell out y'all, but so what? That's what H-Rap do, shock people. You know, I say inflammatory things potentially, and hopefully I get the conversation started. I think y'all gonna be shocked at how low this person is, but I had to put him that low because his backcourt mate, whereas he hit a bunch of big shots, he hit a gang of big shots, but his skill level ain't to the level of the other guys on here. I'm going with the Bean, Kobe Bean Bryant and Derek Fisher, man. You gotta put Kobe on this list because he Kobe. Kobe Bryant is good enough to be on the best backcourt by himself, but he was a part of 5 NBA championships, and Derek Fisher not only was a big shot maker, he played some defense, he did some other things. So I had to give it up for the Bean and Fisher. With that being said, you got Weston Goodrich, you got Hersey Hawkins and Gary Payton. Yeah, I said Hersey Hawkins first, even though he ain't a Hall of Famer. But he from Chicago, and he went to my high school, so I'm showing I'm biased. Not on the list, but I had to say his name first. And the next one up is Kobe Bean Bryant, one of the greatest shooters in the history, one of the greatest shooting guards, in the history of the game, if not the number 2 or 3 in the history of the game. But you got to put Kobe on this list. Man, it's hard to make a list and you say backcourt and don't put Kobe Bean Bryant on the H-Rap. My man, Angry Black Man in the building, much love. H-Rap, you must be playing the radio Hersey Hawkins over Gary Payton over Goodrich and West. Wow. Any all-time backcourt with Derek Fisher is a joke. Damn. Angry Black Man in the building, swinging hard. Hey, in the words of the great Rick James, Angry Black Man, fuck your couch, Nick. But it's my list. Monday we be listening for yours, and I'm talking crazy because I know I never forgive you for throwing that damn Robert Horry question in when your boy was on your show the other day. That was some real trash because you knew I was gonna get fired up on that. But back to the lab. Hey man. It ain't really Derek Fisher that made the list. It's Kobe Bryant. And he played with Kobe long enough for them to be backcourt mates. Newsflash, Jordan ain't on this list. I'm just letting y'all know that now. Jordan ain't on this list. He the GOAT, he the greatest, but he ain't on this damn. Boy, stop. That man, Angry Black Man, just put in the chat room, Smush Parker and Kobe. I wouldn't let Smush Parker couldn't sweep my flow, man. Stop. But hey, I'm just letting y'all know now. Get mad now. Jordan ain't on this list because he ain't played with nobody long enough, and being a spot up shooter ain't gonna get you on this list. Just shooting jumpers. No,